We're going to talk about our newest sponsor. Welcome to World of Matchups, Heroes Heating and Air of Medford, Oregon. Folks, Heroes Heating and Air is a family-owned and locally operated business in the Rogue Valley. They provide real hero discounts for all first responders and veterans. Heroes Heating and Air is Southern Oregon's only Rheem Pro partner, and they sell quality home comfort. These are friends of mine. These are good people, and they are doing a great business in the Valley. Call them at 541-821-1615 for all your service needs, or check them out online at heroesheatingandair.com. Week 7 in the National Football League. World of Matchups coming to you live and direct from the sunny Dexter Reed's house studios in Las Vegas, Nevada. Spencer the Wiz on hiatus. My friend AG Magic to my left, helping me break down all of this week's games in the National Football League. Okay, we are here, you are there. Let's get started. Let's talk about what happened last night. Okay, the Denver Broncos, they go to Cleveland to invade the dog pound and try to get a win after starting 3-0. They're now 3-3. World of Matchups, after winning 4 straight on Thursday night, took Denver and got played. They looked awful last night. Your assessment of last night's game, Alex?
You know, I expected Denver to beat a banged-up Cleveland team, and Kevin Stefanski just outcoached Denver. They outplayed them on every level. I mean, you got Dearness Johnson here, which is a wonderfully hidden gem.
I know.
Man, he looked good. He looked elusive, sprite. This guy can be a starting running back on at least 20 other NFL teams.
Yeah, I agree. He looked really, really good last night, and I was expecting a lot more from Denver's run D. They should have come into that game angry. There's really no reason that when you're missing a Kareem Hunt and a Nick Chubb that you should be getting gashed on the floor like that, the way they did. And when you have Case Keenum as your quarterback, it almost felt too good to be true, and it was. Denver laid an egg, and now they're 3-4. In my mind, Vic Fangio should probably be fired at the end of the year if these things continue. They're going the wrong way. On the flip side for Cleveland, that's a huge W.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big win, and you know, just going back to Denver, I mean, this is a huge asterisk on the coach. I mean, you have Case Keenum. He was still doing Case Keenum things, holding the ball too long. You had both Landry and Odell Beckham coming in and out of the lineup. I mean, they were completely banged up. How they won this game is beyond me. I think it came down to coaching. There was an interesting stat last night that Kevin Stefanski had not lost back-to-back games when he took over until this season. That's how far Cleveland has come.
Wow.
Good for them, but this is a big loss for Denver, and honestly, all I see is a downhill trek for them.
Yeah, and I told all the Denver Bronco fans a couple weeks back, you need to pump your brakes. I know you're 3-0, but you beat the Jets, you beat the Jags, and you beat the Giants. And since then, any decent competition you have played, you've lost to. The AFC West is about to flip, my friends. I'm telling you right now. Look out for Denver to be the basement dwellers again. I thought that they would probably at least take one from Kansas City this year and end that streak. Now I don't see that happening. I'm not really sure Teddy Bridgewater is even a competent starting NFL quarterback. That's all we're going to say about the Denver Broncos. They can fade into oblivion. Shout out to the Cleveland Browns, though. That's a huge W, And even though Baker Mayfield's down and out and they're banged up everywhere, a W is a W no matter how you cut it. And that team is probably now, with that win, firmly securing themselves in the playoff race. Let's get to the game breakdowns this week. Alex, what do we got? Who's on bye this week?
So we got 6 teams on bye. We got Buffalo, Dallas, Jacksonville, LA Chargers, Minnesota Vikings, and Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right,
so those are the top dogs in the league that are taking a break.
Fantasy lineups are going to be looking empty this week.
Yeah, half my team is out.
And you play me.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's talk about who's first.
All right, we got Carolina Panthers at the New York Giants.
The Giants are an absolute mash unit. The team is terrible. Could Daniel Jones have played any worse last week? Carolina's not really playing that well either, but I think they're the better team right now. I do think Jones will play better. But what's happened to Sam Darnold? He started off so hot, and now he looks terrible. Where is he?
You know, I don't want to say he got figured out, you know, because there's been a few years of tape on him, but maybe this is the true Sam Darnold we're seeing. You know, we thought we were going to see the Ryan Tannehill treatment when he came in here, but he started out hot, and he's just spiraled downwards. He's thrown multiple interceptions. I think he has 7 interceptions in 3 games. I mean, he's just not playing well, and he's taking his team with him. This comes down to basically who needs this win more. They both desperately need a win here. Carolina is on the road. I can't even trust them to win in New York. You know what I mean? The Giants are, I mean, they look awful right now. They are banged up everywhere.
The Giants have 5 starters on their team right now from week 1. 5. That's all you need to know. I don't know if I can take the Giants anywhere, though. I really want to, but I really can't. I'm taking Carolina here to bounce back. I mean, Sam Darnold does have 5 touchdowns on the ground. DJ Moore still DJ Moore. If they ever find a way to get Robbie Anderson involved, I mean, the defense on both sides is perennially bad. This is a game Carolina should win. I just don't trust the Giants right now. Kadarius Toney is out. Everyone's out. Barkley's out. I mean, who do they have? Evan Ingram's a bum. The defense is terrible. Blake Martinez is out. I mean, it's literally like a mash unit. And so I'm taking Carolina. I'm not going to take them with confidence, but if I have to bet my life on it, they're going to be the pick. Who are you taking?
Well, if Robbie Anderson can hang on to the ball, I like Carolina to win this one.
I like Carolina to win this going away. I'd say maybe a 3 or 4 point win.
I agree.
Next.
All right, we got New York Jets at the New England Patriots.
This is a pretty easy bet for me. I mean, I just can't see the Jets going on the road and taking the Patriots down. Now, the Patriots have been a Jekyll and Hyde team to this point. I think Bill Belichick kind of lost a little swag when he went for it versus Tampa in the rain with that 56-yard field goal and didn't really give Mac Jones that chance to go win that game. Mac Jones played that game well. You know, and then the following week they go to Houston and they struggle, albeit in a W. I'm not so sure that they're going to blast the Jets. For all intents and purposes, I would take the Jets if I was a betting man, but I just don't see the Jets and Zach Wilson having enough going into Foxborough and taking a W. I think Bill Belichick is like 30-9 versus the Jets since taking over as head coach. I don't see how you could take the Jets here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Jets split the season series last year. They won a game. I do think it's going to be closer than what the line says. It's going to be a battle of rookie quarterbacks. Zach Wilson just simply has to play better. I think it's a close game, but I think New England prevails by 3.
Probably. All right, we're in agreement. Next.
Kansas City Chiefs at Tennessee
Titans. Chiefs, my squad. Listen, we got to get this together. Everybody was excited about winning last week at Washington. I'm here to tell you, I'm one of the people, one of the few real Chief fans that was not. I measure the success of the Kansas City Chiefs based off their playoff appearances in the past and their Super Bowl win. And this is clearly not the type of performance that you can put out there in the playoffs and win. The Chiefs are good enough right now to beat bad teams. Now, here comes Derrick Henry and the freight train that took down the Buffalo Bills last week. Will the Chiefs be able to stop Derrick Henry? That's all you need to know. I say they will not. And this will probably be my very first time ever betting against the Kansas City Chiefs. I just like Tennessee to run the ball down their throats here. Now, the Chiefs do have the X factor in Patrick Mahomes. I do think it will be a close game. I'd rather take the Titans and be wrong because it's a win-win for me if Kansas City does win. But their run defense is deplorable. They haven't been getting better. You fans out there that are happy about these lackluster wins against the Eagles, against Washington football team, if the Chiefs took this team into the playoffs right now, or at home or on the road, they're getting their doors blown off. I'm not a homer. I'm a realist. People tune into World of Matchups for the W's, and so I'm trying to give you the W's. I think Derrick Henry is going to be MVP this year. If something big doesn't happen with one of these quarterbacks, you take Titans all day, every day, twice on Sunday. Touchdown, Titans! What do you think?
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you on this one.
And I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. You know, I think the Titans are coming off a high emotional win on national TV against probably the best team in the league, Buffalo Bills. And I think they're due for a letdown here. When the Titans have played bad this year, they have played horrific.
Really badly,
And
yeah.
I think if the Chiefs can focus on Derrick Henry, play 8 men in the box, play man-to-man. A.J. Brown, Julio Jones have been banged up all year. If you can just win those one-on-one matchups on the outside and cover Derrick Henry, I think the Chiefs get their first signature win of the season.
Then they gotta have it. If the Chiefs are gonna be serious about being contenders this year and going back to the playoffs, forget the Super Bowl, just going back to the playoffs anywhere, this is a team that they have to win. The Chiefs haven't had a really convincing win versus a good team in a really long time. Don't talk to me about Washington and Philadelphia. An 18-point win versus Washington is not a signature win. Go out there, beat the Titans, and I probably won't bet against you guys for the rest of the season. But this week, I just can't trust you. Why? Because it doesn't matter. If you bring the 90s versions of the Kansas City Chiefs defense back, Derrick Henry's running wild. Next.
All right, next we have Washington football team at Green Bay Packers.
The aforementioned Washington football team, another walking wounded mass unit of a team. This is a terrible team. It really, really is. Antonio Gibson got a shin problem. Why don't they let this guy rest? You know, Terry McLaurin, hamstring, in, out of the lineup. Do you trust Taylor Heineke anywhere? Absolutely not. I said after the Packers went into San Francisco and stole that win, this is the type of win that all of a sudden they just run off like 8 or 9 straight, and at the end of the year, they're 13-4. They are absolutely going to destroy this team. Has there been a bigger letdown than the entire NFL this season than the Washington football team defense? They are putrid, and their back end is terrible. Chase Young, that's about all you've got. Montez Sweat, that's about all you've got. But you guys are giving up 30 points a year. Aaron Rodgers is going to carve you guys like a Thanksgiving turkey. I'm taking Washington.
You know,
I'm taking Green Bay.
I was gonna say,
Right.
you know, some of the bad defensive play can be put on the offense. You know, them putting them in bad situations and causing the defense to stay on the field for too long. But honestly, they have just played bad statistically. They rank in the bottom 5 in almost every category. And they are not getting the push on the defensive line front. They're not getting the sacks that they're used to getting. I mean, Chase Young was the superstar his rookie year, and
Like Lawrence
he's
Taylor last
not
year.
beating double teams. They're double teaming him, and he's just not getting home. I don't know what's going on with this Washington defense. They played really well last year. They have essentially the same squad.
It's the same team.
So, you know, I don't know if Tyler Heineke all of a sudden just made this whole defense bad. But I agree. I expect Green Bay to continue to roll against a very porous defense and a subpar offense. You know, what I really think that hasn't been mentioned a lot is the absence of Curtis Samuel. This guy is a good player.
He's a field stretcher.
Yep, and he has not been on the field. And Antonio Gibson being injured, like you mentioned, those guys...
Logan Thomas.
Yep, all those guys being banged up and not available has really cost this team, and I expect Green Bay to roll.
I never thought I'd want to see Ryan Fitzpatrick back on the field so bad.
Man.
They're bad. I mean, they are bad. And I know they got the black cloud with Snyder and the investigations going on, but like, let's face it, this is a bad team.
They need a win.
They need a win
Not
bad,
gonna
and
happen.
it's not going to happen this week. Next.
All right, we got Atlanta Falcons at the Miami Dolphins.
Falcons at the Dolphins. This is a tough one to call because they're two really bad defenses, two really bad teams. Who knows what's going to happen? You could like literally flip a coin and take this one. And so I'm just going to take the Falcons just for fun because I think both teams are horrible. I think the Falcons' back end is abysmal, and Tua did look good last week. But anytime I see a guy like Tua that everyone's on the fence about have a really, really good game like that, the next week he stinks up the joint. I see Cordarrelle Patterson doing well. Mike Davis is going to do well. Matt Ryan has still got something left in the tank. I just don't like Miami. I know their defense is good, but I think this is one of those where you're going to expect a home team to roll because they're home, and then all of a sudden, here comes the Falcons, and Kyle Pitts has done nothing. One of these days, he's going to wake up. I told you about Kyle Pitts, man. It takes a while for these tight ends to come into the league and do anything, but he could wake up here and ascend. I'm just going to take the Falcons because I really don't like either team, and sometimes you got to roll the dice with these picks.
Yep.
Everyone's going to like Miami here. I'm taking the Falcons to roll.
This is the NFL, and on any given Sunday, any team can win. But you got to tell me what happened to Miami's defense? They
Terrible.
All these high-priced
Terrible. They've been so bad. They're like, we give Washington a hard time. Miami's got to take the brunt end of that, too.
Excuse. They
no
have
excuse.
Millions of dollars invested in their cornerbacks.
So bad. Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, they're good players.
Yeah.
They're just not getting it done. Literally, they can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. All they can do is throw. And they haven't even really been doing that well. Devontae Parker's overrated. I like Atlanta here.
Well, Atlanta's coming off of a bye, so they do have an advantage
rested.
here. Miami's coming back from an overseas game where they dropped a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do think Tua plays a little better. Last game was his first game back. They had to go overseas. I'll give him a little slack there. I like Miami to win at home in a close game.
All right, we disagree. What do we got next?
All right, next we have Cincinnati Bengals at Baltimore Ravens.
The Bengals, my wife's team. Bengals been playing real well, man. Really well. I've been double dating Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, and it's been going really, really well lately. I really like what they've done, mixing all of a sudden, staying healthy, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Every now and then in a season, something happens to a team where there's a little bit of magic. All of a sudden, Kansas City puts the ball on the ground. Ravens win that game. All of a sudden, there's a missed delay of game penalty. Justin Tucker kicks a 1,000-yard field goal. They win that game. They get fired up last week, and they blasted the Chargers. All of a sudden, they're like 4-1.
Right.
Lamar is wanting that contract. He's putting the whole city of Baltimore on his back. I just don't see Cincinnati being able to withstand the onslaught, all being they're rotating a million different running backs. The best player in the field is going to be Lamar. He's throwing the ball now, which is what we've been asking him to do. He's making plays to win games, which is what we've been asking him to do. I can't see Joe Burrow coming into this game, albeit Jamar Chase is a stud, Higgins is a stud, Mixon's a stud. They're going to go back and forth. I think there will be a lot of points in this game, but I see Justin Tucker in that leg winning in this game late.
I do like a high-scoring affair in this game. Ravens defense has extremely underwhelmed this year. I expect a much better play, even with Marcus Peters going down in the beginning of the season. The Bengals defense is kind of in the middle of the pack. They're a so-so defense. Like you mentioned, they do have studs on their offense. So this is a division game. Division games are always tough to call. I do like Cincinnati to prevail and get a big win. I think the Ravens have had to come back on a few games and win. They have a great record. You are what your record is, and they are playing well. I do like Cincinnati to prevail in a close one.
Yeah, this will be a huge win for Cincinnati. Yeah. I flipped last week or the week before and took Cincinnati versus the Packers, and they came back and it bit me, and that's
it's field goals.
Yeah, that's the type of game you got to win for me to have that confidence to take you in a big road game like this. After a huge win last week, Baltimore is ripe for a dud. I just don't see it happening right now. Everyone's talking about Mahomes. Everyone's talking about Kyler Murray. Everyone's talking about Josh Allen. But all of a sudden, Lamar's like, man, where are my flowers? You know what I mean?
And
he deserves it. And I've been hard on Lamar. You know what I mean? But if he puts together a couple more really good outings like this, we now have to enter Lamar to the chat of the MVP race. And so I've been poo-pooing on you, but I'm going to start showing you some love because I'm neutral when it comes to this NFL thing. And so I'm taking you this week. Don't let me down. And don't let me down in fantasy. Let's roll next.
All right, we got Detroit Lions at LA Rams.
Why are we even talking about this
Revenge game for Jared Goff?
Jared Goff is a stiff.
Yeah, it is really disappointing. I knew Jared Goff was a pretty average quarterback. I didn't think they would be this bad in Detroit. They haven't won a game.
And they're not going to win a game.
Detroit is just a cursed city.
Factory of sadness.
It's heartbreaking to see what they've done to Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. And this team cannot catch a break.
Every player that leaves there goes out kicking and screaming. Even Golden Tate said his time there wasn't great. I mean, like average players. And the coach is like a rah-rah coach, but we got to have X's and O's to win here. And you're now going into LA. Matt Stafford is looking like a G. Cooper freaking Kupp is unguardable. Aaron Donald was created in a lab. There is no universe I can see Detroit winning this game at all. If Detroit wins this game, I might go streaking up my street. It's just not going to happen. They're going to get absolutely murked. It's not going to be pretty. The line is insane. I don't see a way Detroit wins this game. I'm not even sure it's going to be competitive.
I liked Detroit last week. I think they were an underdog by 3 points. I'm like, they're going to play hard for their coach.
And they'll play hard.
The coach has been emotional. He's got good energy around the team. You figure they're going to play hard and try to get that one win. I just don't see it happening against the Rams. Goff has some inside knowledge against his former team. Is that really going to help?
It's not going to
Detroit
help.
is just so bad.
Sean
and it's sad to
McVay
see.
could not wait to get rid of Jared Goff.
Yeah.
He dropped Jared Goff like a bad habit. He could not wait to get rid of Jared Goff, and they are going to absolutely destroy
Yep,
him
I
on
agree.
Sunday.
Rams in a big one there.
Next.
My team, Philadelphia Eagles, at our hometown Las Vegas Raiders.
This is a huge game. This is a big game. Really,
Yeah.
really big game. And I'll tell you what, man, every time I want to throw dirt on the Raiders' grave, they come out and they put up a big game. They destroyed Denver last week. The game wasn't even close. They absolutely dismantled that team. And now they're coming back home, and guess what? I'm expecting them to dismantle the Eagles, and that's probably exactly why the Eagles will find a way to win this game.
Yeah.
That's exactly why the Eagles will find a way to go into Las Vegas, and Jalen Hurts will be Superman and win this game. Now, am I taking the Eagles? No. But do I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think? I think absolutely it will. I think the Raiders are going to struggle in this game. Why? Because they're supposed to blast this team. And that's the absolute antithesis of Raider football. The things they're supposed to do, they don't do. And when you expect nothing from them, they look like Super Bowl winners. What do you think?
Here's the thing. The Raiders dismantled a very poor Denver team, as we saw last night.
They're bad.
Okay, so they took care of business like they were supposed to. The Raiders are a good team. The Eagles still do not have an offensive identity. They still hardly run the ball. The play calling is horrendous. I'm just so down on Nick Sirianni right now after having so much enthusiasm with him in the beginning of the season. All the players love him. They still love him. They've bought into his system. He needs to give up his
Gotta
play
run the
calling.
ball, man.
You've got to have some balance on that
Run the
offense, and it
ball.
scares me. Defensively, the Eagles have played well in their secondary, surprisingly. Darius Slay is having the best year of his career so far.
He's been better than I thought.
They're playing well. Our linebackers is the problem. We can't stop the run. Defensive line is also playing well, especially with Brandon Graham going down. I can't. There's still a huge question mark with the Philadelphia Eagles,
Yeah.
and for that reason, I expect the Raiders to come out. Sadly, I have a feeling the Eagles can win this game. They can, just like they could have beat Tampa Bay last Thursday.
Yeah.
But the play calling is just so. It's so ripe, and they're so just. There's no experience there whatsoever.
None.
And Nick Sirianni is going to continue to be outcoached on a weekly basis.
You know what I see happening? This is the type of game where the Lions gets his share. Darren Waller's been real quiet for a long time now. Since that Week 1 19 target game versus the Ravens, he's been average. Go look at the numbers. There's been tons of tight ends that have been better than him. I mean, Kelsey is undoubtedly TE1. This is the type of game where I think Darren Waller explodes. They can't cover tight ends coming out of the backfield at all. And if they ever get Josh Jacobs going on the ground, the Eagles will lose this game. But I do think it will be close. I'm taking the Raiders in a nail-biter.
Same. Raiders.
Next.
Yep. Houston Texans at Arizona Cardinals.
Another one of those games. Why we're going to even talk about this game, I don't know. J.J. Watt screaming on the sideline. The reason we're 6-0 is because we're better than you. Hey, man. Maybe that's true. The Cardinals kind of remind me of the 2013 Chiefs when Andy Reid shows up and they start 9-0 and everything just breaks right. They don't have a real good running game, but they're finesse. The quarterback's playing well. The defense is getting the stops that they need, but they're not dominant. They're not really playing bums because they do have signature wins at LA. That's a huge W. You know what I mean? They should beat up on Houston. I think the spread's like 18.5. The game shouldn't be close at all. Houston's got no reason to even try to play right now. They should be trying to lose. We're going to now look at the 7-0 Arizona Cardinals, and we have to talk about them as being serious contenders in the National Football League for the playoff race and moving forward. I'm taking them. I'm taking them big. I'm not even concerned with anything that's happening in Houston right now. What do you think?
Well, I said this in the beginning of your show when World of Matchups first started, is we talked about Kyler Murray briefly. And, there's one thing we wanted to see more of before we made a decisive decision on his playing, and it's can he throw the ball well and consistently. And boy, has he done that this year.
You could be MVP, man. I told you.
He has definitely accepted the challenge and has played well. And I expect him to roll. This is a homecoming game for J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins. So, they might have something to play a little harder for there. But, Houston there's just been no competition with them. I know, albeit they have David Mills starting, but it's just been a bad team. They have no run game. They brought in Mark Ingram, who is a decent back. David Johnson, Phillip Lindsay still can't stay healthy. These guys they don't know who to start. It doesn't really matter. They give Mark Ingram 20 touches a game, and he still just musters 40 yards.
It's Deshaun Watson, folks.
Yep, Deshaun
Watson.
Let me
tell you, anytime you have these distractions hanging over your team that are non-football related, it translates onto the field.
This is the
Washington, same thing. The Raiders, watch. I'm telling you, the Raiders won last week, but you watch this whole John Gruden thing. That stuff doesn't just go away unless deep down inside they didn't want him there anyway, and now he's gone and they're happy about it, which there could be some of that too. Rumors are coming out that Deshaun Watson may be traded to the Miami Dolphins. That's something to kind of keep your eye on. But other than that, there'd be no reason to watch this game unless you're just a degenerate gambler.
Yep.
We're both taking the Arizona Cardinals.
Moved to 7-0 with ease. Absolutely.
Big win. Next.
Right, we got Chicago Bears at Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Bears.
The Bears. The Bears.
So, the Bears are hard to figure out. I think they're in trouble here. I like Justin Fields, but he's a rookie facing a mammoth defensive line. Devin White, Vita Vea, Tom Brady. I mean, the Buccaneers really, in my mind, haven't even played that well. And they've only had a couple home games. But they throw up 30, 40 points a game. Leonard Fournette's ascending. They still got Mike Evans. They got Godwin. Gronk's still out. Don't matter. Gronk is basically just there for the playoffs. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? He's probably healthy right now. They're like, no, you just sit. They're going to destroy this team. I don't think it will be competitive at all. I think there may be a lot of garbage time points because the Buccaneers will be ahead so much. But now the difference between them this year and last year is last year they didn't get Fournette going until the end of the year.
Yeah.
Now they've got Fournette going all the time. And that takes the pressure off Brady. Play action passes. Let me tell you something. Tom Brady's going to play until he's 100 years old if this continues. It's an absolute travesty for the rest of the NFL because while you don't want to see the guy get hurt, you do just want to see him go away. And he's got better protection than President Biden. I like Tampa Bay here all day, every day. What do you think?
Will we ever see another Tom Brady
Never.
in our lifetime?
Never, and you'll never see another Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Stop the comparisons. It's a hopeless cause. I used to do it. Just appreciate greatness in whatever era it is and let it be that. These comparisons are foolish, and I'll be the first one to tell you I used to be one of the people that do it. I also used to be one of the people that threw dirt on the grave of Tom Brady. I am not doing that. I'm letting Tom Brady be Tom Brady. I used to hate Tom Brady so much that I like him now. That's when you know you're the man. There's nothing else to say. Like, I would actually, at this point, if the Chiefs don't make it back to the playoffs of the Super Bowl, I'll root for Tom Brady to get another one. Why not?
Levante David's out on defense. Antonio Brown was ruled out today. I don't think it really matters.
Doesn't matter, bro.
As long as Brady's on the field, I will
Don't
not
matter.
bet against him, and the Brady bunch is going to win.
That's it, man. I mean, I know that Chicago's got a decent defense, but you're asking a rookie quarterback to go up against the Super Bowl champions. It's going to be hard. They can't run the ball there at all. I don't know who's back there. Herbert, Williams, it doesn't matter. They're going to have to throw the ball to win, and I'm not necessarily sure they can.
Yep.
Next.
All right, we got the Sunday night game, Indianapolis Colts at San Francisco 49ers.
I hate Wentz. We all know this. This is not new news, but I'm going to flip the script right now, and I'm telling you right now that I think the Indianapolis Colts are going to win this game. Why? Because they've been playing better. Why? Because of Jonathan Taylor. Why? Because their defense is decent. Even in losses, they still play well. And San Francisco hasn't impressed me at all. Everyone's like, oh, the Niners are going to be back. They'll be healthy again. They'll be okay. I saw Seattle go there and win. I saw the Packers go there and win. There's no real home field advantage with San Francisco. I think San Francisco hasn't had a real home field advantage since like the days of like Steve Young and Jerry Rice. Like, guys go there and win all the time. And I fully expect like Arizona to go there and win. I think if they can run the ball, control the clock. I mean, Garoppolo, you sold me, man. I thought he'd be okay. I'm thinking that they made a mistake, and they should have let Trey Lance spin from day one. They don't know what's going on. The only bright spot they got is Debo. You can double a guy like Debo. George Kittle is George Brittle. I don't trust San Francisco in this game. I don't care if it's under the lights. I don't care if they're at home. I like the Colts to steal this win on the road.
Well, there's a few things with this game. Carson Wentz has surprisingly been playing well this year. So he had a bunch of designated injuries, and he's played through them to his credit. I know he doesn't want that tag on him that he's injury prone, which it already is, but he's played through his injuries, and he has played well. He's got 9 touchdowns to 1 interception. He's completing over 60% of his passes, and the Colts have been banged up on the offensive line. He's playing well. Their defense tends to play well in the first half of the game, and then they just falter. What's going on with their defense? They're not adjusting. However, on the other side of the ball, the San Francisco Niners, I don't even know who's starting, if it's Garoppolo or
They're saying right now that they're leaning towards Garoppolo playing. He's practicing. I really don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter. If Garoppolo starts, I think they can
matters.
possibly establish a running game a little better. Trey Lance, I mean, I would just, if they lose this game, you might as well just keep
Start
Trey Lance in there
for
and
the
see
rest
what
of
you
the
got,
year.
right?
Absolutely. Get rid of Garoppolo. I think you should have got rid of Garoppolo last year, but he was here, and he's a competent starting quarterback. Like I said, everyone poo-poos on Garoppolo, but let's be honest, if he makes that bomb throw in the Super Bowl, his legacy is completely different.
Yeah,
they
sure
win that
is.
game, and now we're looking at Garoppolo as the next Joe Montana, so we have to be careful about throwing dirt on his grave, but they just haven't impressed me at all to this point.
Even though they're coming off of a bye, I like Carson Wentz and the Colts on the road here.
I like the Colts too. And Frank Reich, if you're listening, do us all a favor and please start giving Jonathan Taylor the Derrick Henry treatment. Give this guy the ball 20 times a game.
least.
You giving this guy 2 carries in 1 half last week should have you fired. You should be unemployed for doing that. This guy's an absolute stud. This guy should be getting all the goal line touches. Get rid of Marlon Mack. Naheem Hines, bring him in on 3rd down only, and let this boy spin because you have got a diamond in the rough. I don't know what you're saving him for. You may not make the playoffs. Let Jonathan Taylor eat.
Let him run wild.
Let's go. Next.
All right, last game, our Monday night thriller, the New Orleans Saints at Seattle Seahawks.
I don't know about a thriller. Whoever picked this game had something else in mind at the beginning of the year, and what they had in mind is they had Russell Wilson being on the field in mind, and they had Alvin Kamara actually being the Alvin Kamara of old in mind, but neither one of those things are really happening right now. I can't trust the Seattle Seahawks anywhere. I never liked them, and I like them a lot less without Russ. I don't trust Geno Smith to deliver me a pizza. I think that their running game is always hurt. DJ Dallas is always hurt. Chris Carson is always hurt. You want to win money, you take out your life savings and you go to the sports book at the beginning of the season and you bet that Chris Carson will be hurt at any point in the season. I don't care what odds they give you. Just do it because you're winning. The guy is always hurt. Now Rashad Penny's coming back for the 50th time from IR. Can we even trust this? So no Russ, no running game. Can we trust them to win this game? I'm not seeing it now. On the flip side, the Saints are bad. Without Drew Brees, the Saints are bad. Alvin Kamara has been awful. Jameis Winston, you don't know which. Is Jekyll and Hyde a more Jekyll and Hyde quarterback than him? Michael Thomas being hurt, that hasn't helped. They don't know which way is up. But I take the best player on the field in these games when I don't know what to do, and it's still Kamara. It's still Alvin Kamara. So I'm taking them to win a 1-point game. I like them to barely beat this team because they'll play hard.
Yeah.
They'll play hard.
They'll play hard. The Saints have had some good wins. They've been pretty bad on the road. Like you said, Jameis Winston is just, no one can figure this guy out still after 7-8 years. Alvin Kamara is just not, I don't know who this guy is sometimes. You know what I mean? He's probably not playing hard. He's not buying into the team. There's injuries at the wide receiver position. Michael Thomas is not coming back this week. Maybe you'll have Traquan Smith. At the other side, I mean, Geno Smith has not played that bad.
He hasn't been terrible.
He cost them the game.
He cost them the game. Here's the deal with Geno Smith. If he does Geno Smith things, you're going to lose. If he does what Coach Carroll wants him to do, which is manage the game, they can steal this win. They had a chance of beating Pittsburgh last week. Pittsburgh's defense won that game late. So I'm not saying he's god-awful, but in this spot with no running game again, Alex Collins was a huge difference maker last week. He's banged up now. You know what I mean? Who knows what you're going to get? This is another one of those flip a coin games.
Right. With 2 bad teams, I'm going to take the home team, and I think Seattle.
Okay, and no one can fault you for doing that. I am going to go out on a limb here, and I'm not even sure what his contract status looks like, but I see Alvin Kamara forcing his way out of New Orleans.
Possibly.
I see that definitely happening. The guy is too good, and they're just not using him properly. I never thought in my entire life that minus Drew Brees, the retirement of Drew Brees, would impact this team the way it has. They absolutely folded like a cheap suit. And with Jameis Winston being so erratic, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm still taking them here because I don't like the Seahawks. I just don't trust them anywhere, and I don't trust Geno Smith.
You think we see Taysom Hill at quarterback sometime this season?
Well, they're bringing him in for these gadget plays, which is another thing I don't like. If you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Get yourself a signature guy back there and let him be the guy. Part of the reason you're not seeing them play so well is because just when he's about to punch it in, he's looking over his shoulder, and here comes Taysom Hill.
Right.
You know, like, I love my wife, but like when we're not getting along, I'm not looking over my shoulder, bringing in the next woman. Like, and that's what it's like to these guys. They take it that seriously. It's personal. You know what I mean? And so I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing such erratic behavior and play from the New Orleans Saints. But again, I just don't trust Seattle. Every time I pick them, they let me down, and watch them win this week.
Well, they should have paid Taysom Hill like a starting quarterback.
Somebody was up in their feelings when they made that. He's got nudes on somebody because that contract is the worst in the National Football League. All right, everybody. So that's the breakdown this week, okay? Dexter Reed, AG Magic coming to you live and direct. World of Matchups for Week 7. We'll be back in the studio next week. Spencer the Wiz will be off hiatus. Before we go, we want to thank you for always coming on. We want to thank you for being a sponsor, showing into the show the way you have. We appreciate you guys watching us on Grab It Television. We appreciate you watching us on our YouTube page. We're everywhere on social media, folks. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Just type in World of Matchups and watch what happens. Everything blows up, and all the most pertinent information that you could potentially be looking for in the National Football League will be coming to you live and direct. We'd be remiss if we didn't give you an opportunity to go ahead and give you some shameless promotion for what you're doing for World of Matchups as far as your business.
Sure, folks. Vegas Strong Real Estate Group is a brokerage with a cause. You know, we do a lot for the community. We try to give, we donate, we try to help whoever's in need. Folks, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, please reach out to me, 702-786-4553.
Perfect. So again, we thank you for being the sponsor that you are. We thank you for coming on with real talk, for real understanding, and the knowledge that you bring. People get tired of just listening to me, Doug. So I appreciate you coming on. Folks, you're listening to the most comprehensive and progressive, uncensored National Football League show to hit the airwaves this year. Don't play yourself by listening to all these other robots and all these other shows that are being told what to say. This is real, raw, uncut football knowledge for you, coming to you live and direct every week. You have been watching World of Matchups. We thank you for your support, and we'll see you next week. Enjoy the games, everyone.